The book of Judges isn't like most books of the Bible. There's no hero coming to save the day, no glorious victory. Instead, it's filled with dark stories, the kind that make you sit back and wonder what went wrong. One story, though, stands out in its brutality. It's the tale of a Levite and his concubine, Judges 19. The story begins like a slow drip, but it doesn't take long to see things aren't what they seem. The Levite lived in the hill country of Ephraim. His concubine, a woman he took as his own, left him. The Bible says she played the harlot or simply was angry with him. Either way, she fled back to her father's house in Bethlehem, Judges chapter 19, verse 2. Why did she leave? The Bible doesn't say, but we can imagine the tension. Maybe the relationship had cracked from the start. The Levite waited 4 months. Then he decided to go after her. Maybe he thought he could win her back. Maybe he just didn't want the shame of her leaving. So he saddled his donkey and set off for Bethlehem. When he arrived, her father welcomed him warmly. This is where the story takes a strange turn. Now, you'd expect the Levite to say, "Thank you, sir," and take his concubine home, but instead the father insists he stays. For 3 days they eat, drink, and rest. On the 4th day, the Levite tries to leave, but the father persuades him to stay a bit longer. This happens again and again. You can almost feel the pull of indecision. Why does the father keep delaying? Why does the Levite keep agreeing? Finally, on the 5th day, they start their journey. It's late in the afternoon, the sun's setting, and there's a chill in the air. The Levite, his servant, and the concubine move through the darkening roads. Eventually, they reach Jebus Jerusalem, but it's inhabited by non-Israelites. The Levite insists they press on, saying they shouldn't stay in a city of foreigners. They arrive in Gibeah, a town of the Benjaminites. They sit in the town square waiting. No one offers them a place to stay. Hospitality was a big deal back then. It's like someone coming to your town, desperate for a place to stay, and everyone just ignores them. Finally, an old man approaches. He's from the hill country too. He takes them in, gives them food, and welcomes them warmly. But as night falls, things take an ominous turn. As the evening settles, the Levite and his small group find some peace in the old man's home. But that peace doesn't last long. Suddenly, there's a pounding at the door. The men of Gibeah have gathered outside, and their intentions are clear and terrifying. They shout, demanding the old man bring the Levite out so they can know him. This isn't the kind of knowing where they introduce themselves. It's violent, degrading, and dehumanizing. The old man knows it, and he's horrified. The old man pleads with them, "Do not commit this outrage. This man is a guest in my home. Hospitality was sacred, a code no one dared to break." But these men have no regard for that code, and they won't back down. In desperation, the old man offers his own daughter and the Levite's concubine instead, begging the crowd to take them instead. It's a heart-wrenching choice. The Bible doesn't offer commentary here, leaving us with the raw horror of it all. What follows is hard to read, but it's there in black and white. The Levite takes his concubine and hands her over to the mob. She's brutalized through the night. No one in the house steps out to stop it. The Levite doesn't step out to stop it. By morning, she's collapsed on the doorstep, reaching for the door as her last act. At dawn, the Levite opens the door to leave. He sees her lying there, her hand on the threshold. There's no shock, no sorrow in his voice as he says, "Get up, let's go," but she doesn't respond. She's gone. The Bible doesn't describe his emotions or if he had any. We're left to interpret his silence. Maybe he felt ashamed, maybe he was indifferent. We don't know. He picks up her lifeless body, places her on his donkey, and takes her home. Judges chapter 19, verse 28. The journey back is silent, the weight of what's happened hanging in the air. When they reach Ephraim, the Levite does something no one expects. He takes a knife, divides her body into 12 pieces, and sends them throughout Israel. Judges chapter 19, verse 29. Imagine the shock of receiving such a message. This wasn't an ordinary act. It was a call to action, a warning, a cry for justice. The message was unmistakable. Look at what has happened here. News of the atrocity spreads like wildfire. The leaders of Israel gather, horrified and outraged. In their culture, nothing like this had ever happened before. The Bible says, everyone who saw it said, "Such a thing has never been seen or done, not since the day the Israelites came up out of Egypt." This one night, the horror, the betrayal, the Levite's silence would set off a chain reaction no one could control. Word of the concubine's tragic fate spreads through the tribes of Israel like a spark in dry brush. Every tribe sends their leaders to assemble at Mizpah. They come, each leader bearing a righteous anger, each one stunned at what's been done in Gibeah. This gathering isn't just a meeting, it's the start of a reckoning. The entire nation is united, demanding answers. The Levite stands before the assembly, recounting what happened. He tells them about the men of Gibeah, their evil intentions, and the brutal death of his concubine. There's no humility in his voice, no admission of his own role in the events. He frames himself as the victim, stirring the people's anger. The leaders listen, horrified, and by the time he's finished, there's a cry for justice. The Israelites decide to send a message to the tribe of Benjamin, demanding they hand over the men of Gibeah responsible for this atrocity. It seems like a straightforward solution: root out the evil and punish the guilty. But the Benjamites refuse. Instead of turning over the offenders, they choose to defend them, to protect their own, even if it means standing against the rest of Israel. This refusal is a line in the sand. Now, it's not just about justice, it's about loyalty, pride, and a bitter family divide. Israel prepares for battle, ready to march against their own brothers. They rally an army of 400,000 soldiers. The Benjaminites muster 26,000, along with an elite group of 700 left-handed slingers, warriors known for their deadly accuracy, Judges chapter 20, verses 15 to 16. The nation is on the brink of civil war, all because of one horrific night. The first day of battle is brutal. Israel goes in strong, confident that justice is on their side, but Benjamin fights fiercely. The Benjaminites inflict heavy casualties, and by the end of the day, 22,000 Israelites lie dead on the battlefield, Judges chapter 20, verse 21. This wasn't the victory Israel expected. It's a blow to their pride and a shock to their cause. After mourning their losses, the Israelites regroup. They pray, seeking guidance from God. Should they go back and fight? They feel trapped between a need for justice and the weight of more bloodshed. But they receive a clear answer go up against them with renewed conviction. They launch a second attack. The next day, it's the same story. The Benjaminites defend with everything they've got. Another 18,000 Israelites fall, and the tribe of Israel faces another crushing defeat. It's a humbling experience for Israel. Despite their numbers, despite their unity, they can't overcome Benjamin. They're forced to confront their own motives, their own sense of justice. Once again, they go before God, fasting, sacrificing, and crying out. They're broken, no longer just angry, but desperate. This time, God assures them, tomorrow I will give them into your hands, Judges chapter 20, verse 28. The stage is set for a final, decisive clash. But this battle isn't just against Benjamin. It's a battle for the soul of a divided nation. On the third day, Israel approaches the battlefield with a new strategy. This time, they set an ambush. Part of the army hides nearby, waiting, while the rest of Israel marches straight toward Gibeah. The Benjaminites, seeing them advance as before, grow confident. They charge out, thinking they'll score another victory like the previous 2 days. But things are different this time. As the Benjaminites press forward, Israel's forces pull back, luring them away from their city. At just the right moment, the hidden ambush springs to life, surrounding the Benjaminites. Caught off guard, their confidence turns to terror. As they realize the trap, it's already too late. The battle is fierce and unforgiving. Israel strikes with relentless force, determined to end this conflict once and for all. By the end of the day, the tribe of Benjamin is decimated. Only 600 men survive, fleeing to the wilderness for refuge. The rest of the tribe, the warriors, the innocent, the entire community of Gibeah falls. This isn't just a victory, it's annihilation. Israel, now fueled by a mixture of grief and vengeance, turns to the city of Gibeah. They burn it to the ground, erasing it from existence as if to purge the land of its sin. But as the flames rise, the cost of this justice becomes painfully clear. The tribe of Benjamin is nearly wiped out, and Israel realizes they've gone beyond judgment. They've destroyed a part of themselves. The nation is horrified by what they've done. The very people they call brothers, one of the 12 tribes chosen by God, are almost extinct. In the aftermath, Israel is gripped with regret. They gather at Bethel weeping, mourning over Benjamin, asking, why has this happened to Israel? Judges 21:3. They went out seeking justice, but in their anger, they've gone too far. They worry now about the future. A tribe is nearly lost, a part of their heritage gone forever. To preserve what's left of Benjamin, the Israelites devise a plan. They decide to provide wives for the remaining Benjaminites, ensuring the tribe can rebuild. It's a strange, almost desperate attempt at redemption. But it's clear the nation feels the weight of their actions, the deep wound they've inflicted upon themselves. The book of Judges ends with a haunting line. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. This isn't just a historical footnote. It's a warning. Without a higher standard, without the humility to seek God's wisdom, justice becomes corrupted by pride, vengeance, and unchecked anger. The story of the Levite and his concubine serves as a chilling reminder of the human heart's darkness when left to its own devices. It's a call to seek true justice, not vengeance. To pursue peace, not division. And to remember that in a world where everyone does what is right in their own eyes, we can lose sight of what's truly right. Thank you for watching and taking this journey through one of the Bible's most intense and challenging stories. If you found value in this exploration of Scripture's darker side, please take a moment to like this video and share it with others who might be interested. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on future content. There's so much more to uncover together. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think of this story? How does it impact your understanding of justice, faith, or even forgiveness? Let's continue the conversation there. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.